I was in the meeting yesterday and I started talking to my colleague about some people I was going to introduce him to. And as we got towards the end of the meeting, I started writing down the names of the people I'd promised introductions to. And he stopped me and he said, "Andy, how do you remember all these people's names?" Now, this is a common question in networking. One of the biggest fears people have is remembering other people's names. And at times that fear could be costing you business. If you go into a networking event and you see someone and you know you've met them before and you can't remember their name, that may stop you approaching them, and that's a shame because you've already gone through the first step of introductions and now you can build the relationship further. So don't let that fear stop you. Now, the reason I could remember the names at the meeting yesterday was because they were all people who are close to me or relatively close to me in my network. They're people who I speak to on a regular basis or who I have spoken to on a regular basis recently. And they're names that you can remember. If you think about the people who are close to you, you don't have a problem remembering their names. So nor did I in that situation. So the more we talk to people, the easier it is to remember their names. If you forget someone's name, that's not something to be embarrassed about, because we all do it and we all struggle with it. And very often the best policy is just honesty. "I'm sorry, I know we've met before, but I'm just struggling to remember your name. Can you remind me?" Now, we feel guilty about that, but we don't need to, because all of us suffer from the same thing. But if you'd like some tips to help you remember names in the first place, here are some ideas. The strongest one is repetition. When you first meet someone, say their name 3 or 4 times in conversation and you'll find it much easier to remember it. It doesn't have to sound as forced as perhaps that might appear at first. So when you first meet someone, it might be, "Oh, sorry, so your name's Nigel. Nigel, it's great to meet you. So tell me, Nigel, what brings you here tonight?" When someone comes along to join you, take the opportunity to introduce them straight away. So, "Oh, can I introduce you to Nigel?" Very often, if you can't remember the other person's name, they'll introduce themselves anyway. But that repetition, which doesn't sound forced, ingrains the name in your memory, and suddenly you'll make the association. Also, look, if it's a networking event, look at their name badge. And as you say their name, be looking at their name badge, because that will reinforce the name in your memory, because you've both got the practice of saying it, but you've got the visual backup of seeing their name written down. Or look at their business card alternatively. So looking at the name as well as saying it makes all the difference. Those are the simplest tips. I have heard people talk about name association. So when you hear someone's name, you start working out how you associate it with different things. That doesn't work for me. It's too much work, too much effort, too many people. The only person I can ever recollect their name through that is a guy called Stephen King, and that's because I associate them with a famous person called Stephen King. But in general, it's not that simple. So I hope those tips help. The key thing to remember is that people forget, and not to be embarrassed by it.
The $1 Million Challenge is a unique TV collaboration to help you make more money. Join now to get free access to the world's top sales, marketing and internet experts direct from your desktop. There are hundreds of shows like the one you've just seen. Tap into the combined experience of dozens of world-leading experts and thousands of other business people. There are also low-risk, results-based options if you're looking for more help. Sign up today.